Hi there, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Mac. Mac basics, what we can do, what we can change in there, and how we can really customize it to make it our own. Let's start off by a little bit of getting acquainted with the Mac interface. So you can see here on my screen, down at the very bottom we have what is called the dock. Now this is not everything on your computer, it's just what is most commonly used. So if I'm always using my calendar or my mail, I may want to add it down to my dock. For things that I don't use all the time, let's say reminders, I can remove that from my dock. There is actually a right click on a Mac. If you're not using a mouse, if let's say you have a laptop and you have a trackpad, you can use Control click, just by holding down Control and click to open up this new menu, where we can go to Options and remove that icon from the dock. So if I don't need to see reminders, you can hear it go right away. I no longer have to look at it every single day. Now you'll notice here there's a little line on my dock to the right hand side. This is going to separate my applications or programs from my downloads folder and my trash can. So that way if I want to put other folders down there, I could, but it's going to have to be to the right of this line. So let's move a little bit to the top bar up here. So we have our clock right up in the top right hand corner. If we have multiple users on our computer, I go ahead and click here and you can see all the different users right there. Now my favorite feature is what's called Spotlight. If you don't take away anything today, just remember Spotlight is your way to find anything on your Mac very quickly. So if I click on Spotlight and maybe I'm looking for that reminders I got rid of, I type in reminders, hit enter, and it will pop right up. You can even ask it questions, things like math equations. So if I say 2 plus 2, it'll equal 4. So your Spotlight is very easy to use, it's very simple. Right next to that is going to be a new icon that was just released with what was called Sierra, which is Mac's equivalent of like Windows 10. So these are different what we call operating systems or software that runs on the computers. So if I click on Siri here, just like with my computer, I can ask her a question. So you can see she's annotating everything I say right now. So let's give this a try. What's the weather like today? So you can see it's going to be a bristly 44, but no snow. So Siri is another great way to quickly navigate around your computer if you can't find something or if you're asking for a question. And again, that's only available if you have upgraded to the new operating system Sierra. It is free to upload or update. Over on the right-hand side here, if you click, this is our notification panel. So if you have things like mail messages popping in or maybe text messages popping in, so over on notification panel, you'll see we have our iTunes panel, our weather pops right up, calendar, and you can even edit this if I need to. So I click edit right down here, and I can choose what shows up in this panel. So think of this as my quick and easy taskbar of knowing what's going on in my day and what's going on around me. So if I'm always using a calculator, instead of opening up the calculator app, I click the plus sign, and you can see my calculator adds right in. Maybe I don't use iTunes all that often. I'm listening to Pandora or Spotify. I can click on the minus sign to remove it, and you can see it hops right back over here. You're going to see these icons with the minus signs and the plus signs around quite often. So you'll see these icons repeated in other apps, whether it's iTunes or Mail. When I'm seeing a plus sign, it means I'm adding or creating something. When I see a minus sign, that means I'm taking something away or removing it from my menu. And as you add in different apps, they could pop up in your notifications here. Now, up here we have two different tabs. There's Today, that means all the stuff going on today, and then Notifications. These are going to be the different notifications coming in. So I have when Creative Cloud ask me about an update. These are the things that pop on your screen, and maybe if I dismiss them, they will show up here later. And again, that's right here, right next to Siri, these little lines. If you're on a laptop, you'll see a battery indicator right next to this. Now you can see I'm plugged in and charging right now. If I take that power cord off, the little lightning bolt goes away, showing it is no longer charging. If I click on that, I can see what sort of apps are using a lot of my battery life. So if I am running low on my laptop battery, maybe I'm down to the last 10%, I'm just trying to get through that last meeting, I can see what I could close down to potentially get myself better battery life. I also like to see the percentage. So right through here, just by clicking on the battery, if I click show percentage, I can see what percent of battery I have left. Now I get the question a lot of, do I need to charge my laptop and discharge it all the way down at the end of the night? The answer to that is it depends. You don't want to leave your laptop on the charger 100% of the time. Otherwise, you create a lazy little couch potato battery. Batteries like to be ran. That doesn't necessarily mean I have to discharge it every single day. That just means I need to give it a little bit of exercise. My rule of thumb is if I see the little light on my charger go green, I unplug it for a little bit. So like I'm at 100% right now, I would unplug this for a little bit and let this run. You may also notice on the left of the battery icon is what is called your Airplay icon. Now, if you've taken an iPad workshop before or you've used an iPhone and you've seen an Apple TV, you may be familiar with this already. This will allow you to mirror not just an iPad, but to allow you to mirror your Mac up to an Apple TV screen. So if I click on this, this is going to look for all of the Apple TVs in the area. If one pops up, I can click on it, enter in a code, and mirror my screen up there wirelessly. So I don't need to be attaching dongles and cables and everything. I can just wirelessly show up. So here we can see, here's my Airplay. There's an Allied Lab. If I click on that, it's going to ask me to enter in that code. You also have what looks like a baseball field to the left of that. This is your Wi-Fi icon. On campus here, we have Wi-Fi for everybody. You can join up. Most people, your laptop is already configured to join immediately. But let's say I go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts and I want to do work for a little bit. I can join up to a Wi-Fi that's free and open just by clicking in on the list. So you'll see here we have SC Mobile and SC Outdoor. Both of these are open, meaning I do not see a lock next to them. If I want to join on SC Outdoor, I would click that and it would join right up. If I do see a lock next to it, that means I need a password. Your home network may be password protected. If it's not, highly recommend you make it password protected. So if I see a lock, I click on that, enter in the password, and it would let me join. Once you've entered a password for a network, it saves it in there, so you don't have to keep doing that over and over again. This icon you may or may not have. This one is going to be Time Machine. Time Machine is a backup system for your Mac. Now, I recommend anything that is important to you as far as files go, whether it's a picture or a movie or a document, should be backed up somewhere, whether it's on a cloud or on an external hard drive. Time Machine works specifically with external hard drives. When you plug this in, Time Machine will automatically kick on and create a clone of your entire computer. How do I add icons to the top bar? I don't have the Airplay icon. So we're going to talk about customizing it because your top bar may not look identical to mine. It depends on what you want to see. For example, these three icons here you may not have because these are related to certain apps I have installed. Things like Google Drive or Google Hangouts may have their own icon bar.